Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Karl Marx, who I don't often quote, said 100 years ago, "You can count on a capitalist to sell you the rope you plan on hanging him with." I'd like to ask you about this NVIDIA chip sale to China, and in the context of American innovation and competition for innovation, how this makes sense, that we would take sophisticated computer chips and decide that China can buy them, which was the president's announcement, so long as we get 25% on the deal. Are we selling our souls here by giving away this kind of hard-fought innovation?
I will say I think controlling access to chips and to computing power is really the best lever that we have in AI competition with China. There's a lot of factors that go into AI competitiveness, and a lot of them are very difficult to control. And so the fact that we are actually able to restrict the amount of computing power that resides in China and that Chinese companies have access to is a really important lever. So yes, I think it is a mistake. I think it is also really important sometimes in these discussions, the numbers get lost, and the numbers of chips we're selling and the level of how advanced those chips are matters a lot. And so I'm encouraged that despite a lot of the back and forth on this policy issue. In fact, the licenses that have been approved, as I understand it, to date, have been relatively small numbers of chips. I think if we, in principle, approve sales, but then in practice the numbers are low, then we've sold them maybe a thinner, less useful rope to pick up on your analogy.
Anyone else care to comment on this? Professor Cohen? You need to turn on your thing.
Turn on the mic.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. Personal comment and an observation. I first heard about NVIDIA in 2011 in an article in a magazine called Electronics Intellectual Property. Is where I first heard the term GPU. And it was pretty clear where China was headed back then. Our inability or lack of use of future-oriented technology assessments, which were pioneered by OTA and are widely used in Europe. There are even patents on OTA approaches, is really critical here in assessing what happens when you deny the profit stream for advanced technologies and whether the U.S. can remain the leader in that area or whether we'll be hampered from it. So it sounds highly problematic to me to sell these chips to China, but it may be more problematic not to sell the chips to China. And I think we really need to understand that much better.
Thank you. I also would like to address this AI situation, the current state of research, and profess at the beginning I am a liberal arts lawyer, so you lose me in a hurry when you get deep into technology. But as I understand it, we are basically inviting the private sector in America to get into the race for the AI achievements, and many of them are. There are, I think, 4 major companies in competition in our national space for that possibility. When I look back in history, whether it's the A-bomb or the man on the moon, it used to be a partnership between the government and the private sector. Can you describe the current situation in terms of the government's role and our control over the research and what comes from it? Ms. Toner?
Yes, I think it's truly unprecedented, the mismatch between how strategically important this technology is and how little involvement government has in developing it. And I think that is most likely not a good thing. I sat before a subcommittee of this committee a year and a half ago and was asked to testify about what it is that we in policy conversations in Washington don't understand about insider conversations about AI. And what I testified in September of 2024 is that what we don't understand is how deadly serious they are about building machines that will outperform humans at everything, and how deadly serious they are that they don't know if they'll be able to control the machines that they create. I think it sounds like science fiction when you say it like that, but it is truly what some of the wealthiest and most powerful are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into doing, and so we need to take that seriously.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Mr. Lyons, I want to ask you a question that comes before me on a regular basis. Universities, major universities in my state, are lamenting the fact that foreign students are choosing not to attend college in our country. A lot of it has to do with all the anti-immigrant conversation and the experience many of these immigrant and foreign students have had when they came to the United States. So I would like to ask you, with your background from a security viewpoint, do you believe we can invite students to come study in the United States in some of these critical areas without compromising our national security?
Thank you, Senator. I think it's a complex issue. I think the design.
If you could pull the mic closer to you.
The design problem with that we're facing is how do we distinguish between those who are a resource and those who are a risk to our country? And I would say that as a country of immigrants, we need to always support immigration towards the side of those who are resources. Right now, there's very little checks that go into place when students and/or even H-1B visa holders are arriving to the United States. And I think that there is a spectrum of opportunity that we have that goes from increasing the amount of research that is done on individuals coming into the country to an outright ban. I think the outright ban is something that's a bit off the table for now, and it should be. Even during the Soviet era, we were pro-immigration, and I think we should remain that.
Thank you.